Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to SAP Now Virtual Experience. I'm Nabil Deep. I'm the head of pre-sales for the spend management portfolio in MENA. Today, I'm going to take you through an overview demo for the main capabilities of the system. And if you have any questions, please type them in the chat. Also, I will be sharing my contact information for any further queries. Today, with the pandemic happening in the whole world, supplier risk is very important to me. I need to have heads up about any risk that might be associated with any of my suppliers. In the supplier risk, all of my suppliers will be connected to thousands and thousands of sources of information that can collect news from all over the globe and then match it against my suppliers. And then categorize these risks against regulatory and legal risk, environmental and social risks, and financial risks and operational risks. And I can see each of my supplier what's the risks that he has exposure to. And also I can see a heat map of my suppliers. As I can see here, I have some suppliers in the high risk category in the financial area. If I click on this, I can see the list of these suppliers, and I can even go into more details for these suppliers. So for this supplier, I can see his risk exposure and the risk score that he has got against the news that has been collected against this supplier. These scores are the criteria that I have defined against each category of risk that has been collected against this supplier. Also, I can see the risk incidence or the source of news that has been identified these kind of risks. So here, for example, I can see that there are some news related to coronavirus. If I clicked on it, I'll go into more details and I'll see that this supplier is closing 80% of his stores because of coronavirus. So by one click, I'll go also to the source of information and where this information is coming from. Now, after identifying these high-risk suppliers, I need to find new sources of suppliers. And this can be done easily by, in the sourcing part, I can raise RFI, which is request for information, and I can send it to the whole Ariba network, which has more than 4.4 million suppliers right now. But also, in case that you are still not an Ariba customer, we have opened the discovery posting now for free, which means that if you go to discovery.ariba.com, you can create a free posting and send your requirement to the whole network, so you can see the responses that you will get against it. So here, for example, I'm searching for packaging boxes to be shipped to United Arab Emirates, and then I'll start creating my posting. As you can see here, I can add as many categories as I want and put the ship to location, which is my location, and then start filling the posting information. Accordingly, the system will match my requirements from category and ship to location against the suppliers in the network. So as you can see here, according to the criteria that I have put, 7,400 suppliers matches this criteria. I can go into more details and see who are these suppliers, and I can filter them as well. So I can filter them, for example, for minority owned, which might be a good cause to be encouraged within the current situation that we're having. Or I can say I want only to select the suppliers that has been rated as 5-star suppliers from other customers. And this will limit my supplier search for 27 suppliers only. I can even go into more details for the supplier and see his public profile, which will state how many transacting relationship he has, how many similar discovery posting he has responded to, the main description, the main business info and categories that he's working in, and all the details that I might need for the supplier to begin dealing with. The only details that you cannot see here is who are these transacting relationship, because the buyer side is totally protected and secured. So you cannot see the buyers that's related to these suppliers. So I will add these 27 suppliers to my posting, and then I will finalize my posting. But as we were talking about security and privacy of information, even when you're creating this posting on the network, you can still have more details and more options to hide your identity. So you can just post this as anonymous on the Ariba network, and once you get a reply back, you can start the business to business relationship with your supplier. So I will then post this. It will just be reviewed and then posted to the suppliers so they begin responding back to it. After identifying new sources of supply, you can invite those suppliers to be registered with you in Ariba. Once you get them through the registration process, you can invite them to collaborate with you within the negotiation tools that you have within Ariba. So in Ariba, you have many ways to negotiate with your suppliers. You can have tenders, you can have auctions, you can even leverage the same engine of auctions that we have to be able to make forward auction for selling any depreciated assets or unneeded equipment that you might have. One of these negotiation styles, as mentioned, is reverse auction. Reverse auction is very powerful tool that you can get a lot of savings and realize quicker ROI within the application. If you go into the details of the reverse auction, you can see that you have here a bid console in which you can monitor your suppliers competing against each other for the items or services that you have specified. You can send them a list of technical questions against which they can respond, and once they have peer-to-peer items or services they can offer you, you can submit them to compete against each other in window of time in a reverse auction manner. All you need is just sit back and relax and watch them competing against each other in the reverse auction and going through the rules that you have specified for them to compete. So here you can see how the prices will be reduced when you put the suppliers to compete against each other. They will be also answering your technical question, and you can see here all the details side by side. You can have scenarios for award, which means the system can give you what if scenarios. So what if you want the best price? What if you want the best score that has been identified from the technical responses? And also you can create scenarios from the supplier profile and the tender responses as well. So you can say, I want a supplier who has a local existing in my country from his profile, and also he has responded in the technical information in this reverse auction to deliver in less than 6 months, for example. You can also have reports against this reverse auction and see reports by the full project or by specific line item as well. And then you will conclude this into an award, which can be concluded into a contract, or you can even add it to an existing one, or you can decide that you want to have this as awarded into a purchase order directly. So now, how do your supplier collaborate with you? Let us switch to the supplier portal and see what the supplier can do. So this is the dashboard. I'm logged in now as a supplier, and I can see a notification about the purchase orders that I have with you, or any customer that I have on Ariba network. I have also a mobile app from which I can get notification about new purchase orders. I can send the confirmation about the purchase order, as we will see in the next demo, and also I can create an invoice and check the invoice status as well. And also I can take action against tenders. I can take action against auctions, so I can send my bid or I can send my quotes. I can negotiate contracts, and also I can as well see the leads in the discovery that you have been posting as buyers. So let's see, for example, here I have new purchase orders. So I can see a list of purchase orders that I got from all my customers that are on Ariba network. I can take a quick action against any of these purchase orders. I can confirm the purchase order. I can update some of the purchase order lines so I can confirm it partially. I can reject the purchase order, create advance shipment notice. I can create invoice. As you can see, create invoice is dimmed. And why is that? That's because you as a buyer on the network have the option to enforce the validation rules and the matching rules against the purchase order. So you as a buyer can say that I don't accept invoices from suppliers which has not been, for purchase order which has not been received. So by then, when you receive the purchase order, the supplier would be able to create this invoice. So me as a supplier, I can go here into the details of purchase order. So I will see the logo of the customer that this purchase is coming from, the payment terms, the ship to locations, and the details of the items that has been requested. Okay, so I can see here all the details as mentioned. I can take action against the purchase order. I can create an invoice, or even I can create a credit memo. So beside the collaboration that I can do with the purchase order and invoice as a supplier, also I can see here the leads that match my criteria. So when we spoke about the discovery from your side as a customer, and you're mentioning what you need from category and ship to location and all the details of the posting, me as a supplier, in case this posting is matching my criteria, I'll be notified. And this is a good chance for me as a supplier to grow my business over the network with new customers. And also here from the same portal, I can go through the tenders and auction that I have as a supplier to bid against or quote against. So here I have open RFP and open auction that I need to participate against. And this is the same auction that I have shown you, but that is from the supplier side. So from the supplier side, I can begin responding to this auction request that you have sent as a customer. And the good thing as well, that every step that I take as a supplier, you will be updated as a customer. So here, when I say that me as a supplier, here I clicked I intend to participate. Here, you as a customer will get an update notification that this supplier intends to participate. If also you have sent me a prerequisites that needs to be done from my side as a supplier for you to accept me as a supplier to bid against this auction or tender, you will be notified. This prerequisite can be an NDA that I need to agree against some terms and conditions, or to submit a specific document, or to answer specific questions. That's a gateway for this tender or auction that needs to be done. So me here as a supplier, I'll see which are the lines for this auction, and I'll select that I can bid for all of them or some of them. And also me as a supplier here, I have the option to ask you about some questions or queries during the tender, while the tender is open, or even after it's closed. This option will be available to send the message. But after the time is over, I cannot bid against these lines. So I can here answer all the technical question. I can compose a message, ask any question that I need to ask, and then send it. Here on your customer side or on the buyer side, you will receive the notification on the application, and also with a notification email. And then I can begin replying against this. And the good thing as well, that you can reply to all of the suppliers and just remove the identity of the supplier that is asking, and have this as populated, and then populate a specific answer or information that you want to give to your whole suppliers. Once I send it here as a supplier, I'll receive the notification. I can see here this public message that has been populated to all suppliers, and then I can take action against it. I begin submitting my either tender or bid or prices, and then it will be submitted. And this is an auction, so it will go to the bid. Today I'm going to take you through the catalog guided requisitioning journey. Here in my dashboard, I can see that I have 5 IT equipments from my company. If I go into the details of it, I can see that my laptop that I have purchased in less than 3 years is not eligible to be replaced as per my policy in the company. So let's now start the requesting process. Here I can see the tiles that I'm eligible to buy from. Going through the laptop tile, I can see the laptops that I'm eligible to purchase according to my position. This is the laptop that I need, and I'll be adding it to my cart. Also, I can search this internal catalog that has been identified by my company against the contracts that they have within the approved supplier list. So here I'm searching for a chair in my internal catalog, and then I'll add it to my cart as well. When I'm checking out, the system will check all the policies that needs to be checked. So here the IT policy states that my laptop is still usable and shouldn't be changed. So I need to have extra level of approval, and also I need to provide the reason why I'm requesting an extra laptop. Also, you can see here that the item is retrieving all the accounting information and the cost center, and this is where the budget will be checked against. So, and accordingly the approval workflow will be retrieved. So as you can see here, as I'm requesting a huge number of this will cross the budget, and it will exceed the existing budget for this either cost center or the project that I'm requesting against. As you can see here, this is the budget in the back end that has been identified against this cost center or against the project, from where I can see also the consumption against this budget. As I will reduce the quantity, the approval workflow will change, and then as my request is now within the budget, I can send the request for approval. As you can see here, my manager needs to approve this, and he doesn't need to log into the system to approve it. He can from his mobile app, on which he will be notified that he has a new approval to be done, to check all the details of the request that has been sent with the items, and also put some comments on either the approval or rejection of this request. Once it has been finally approved, it will go also to the supplier on his mobile app, on which the supplier will see all the details of the order, and also he can confirm it directly from his mobile app. So here, as a supplier, I'll confirm that I have received the purchase order, and I can put an estimate shipping date and estimate delivery date, and also put comments on this. And this is how simple a purchase requisition can be done. At the end of the day, how we can have a visibility on our spend and on our any potential saving areas. Here in the visibility section, we can have all the data that may lay in different sources of information, all retrieved and then projected in one dashboard, a strategic dashboard on which we can have a holistic view of all of our spend. This data goes through layers of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and even a team working on it to make sure that the data is cleaned, doesn't have any duplicates, and also the data will be enriched. So the reports and KPIs that you're seeing here is over a reliable data, and management can take decisions against. So what do we mean when we say that the data will be cleansed and structured and enriched? So an example of this is one example of structuring unstructured data. So as you can see here, when we see the commodity analysis of a spend that we have before the classification, you can see that there is 28% as unclassified data. So this 28% is like a blind zone to the management. The management doesn't know 28% of their spend, where it has been spent exactly against which commodity. This may result according to purchase orders and invoices that has been issued without specifying right category and subcategory or maverick spend that has been done. If you notice here that the data projected after the classification doesn't have this unclassified data. And this is the value that this part would add, which is structuring the unstructured data and cleansing and making sure that the data that you have is enriched and reliable data. Here another example for the supplier data. So the supplier after enrichment, you can see the right hierarchy of the suppliers that you are spending against. Even if you're retrieving the data from different sources where the supplier data will not be harmonized, this will be harmonized accordingly. And then it will be enriched against global databases of supplier like DNB, for example. Another potential saving area that you can get out of these reports is the off-contract spend or contract leakage. So here within these two reports, you can see that we're making this much of off-contract spend in these categories under these departments. So now if you took this spend and put it under the management of the contracts, you will have a lot of savings. And many other reports that will give you a strategic view of your spend and give you a potential saving areas that you can benefit from. By this, you're completing the full negotiation with your supplier, you're managing your spend, and also you have a view of exactly what you're spending, and this is how an intelligent spend management should be. Thank you.
Thank you for attending the session. Hope it was useful. I'll be available in the chat room for any questions. Also, please feel free to schedule a call to go into further details.